My apologies for the time lapse. I came into the hobby shop the day before with only 2 hours to spare, but with the help of Joe, we were able to remove the 4AG from the blue 86 before the shop closed. Cusco, eh? Like Cusco internals? Maybe? Today, I will be putting the good trans and the new 4AGZE together and hopefully have some time to prep the engine bay before I throw the new engine in. This 4AG was a 3-rib block. 7 was the better block. It looks to have been rebuilt at some point too. Pink injectors? Could be faded red from the 4AGZE or the 200cc pink 4AG injectors. Who knows? TRD clutch? Nice, very nice. And this was the JDM short shifter I was talking about that leaned more towards the passenger side. TRD? Well, this guy likes his JDM parts. Remember those grinding noises I had when I was starting the car? Well, here's the reason. This right here is a good pinion. The pinion is the gear that spins the flywheel, which, starts the whole starting car process. Here is a bad pinion. Notice how the edges have been shaved down? Well, that's what happens when you start a car that's already running. No, his Bendix or pinion gear probably wasn't engaging fully. And here's that rounded, damaged part on the flywheel. This coupled with the rounded pinion and maybe not so engaging Bendix equals grinding noise on the startup. To start the assembly of the flywheel and clutch, you must first install the transmission sandwich plate. The sandwich plate is usually held in with 2 10mm bolts. Next comes the flywheel. 8 14mm bolts hold it in place. Put a drop of Loctite on each one. While tightening each bolt in a start pattern, you'll eventually run into this problem. I like to either have someone hold the harmonic balancer in the front with a socket and a ratchet, or by using one of the bell housing bolts, you can shove a sizable socket in between the bolt and the flywheel tooth. This will prevent the flywheel from spinning, letting you torque the bolts properly.
What the are you doing?
Trying to stop it from rotating?
Right.
So I can torque the flywheel bolts.
Why don't you grab the actual tool for you?
Wait, what? For what? What is that?
Where's the...
I've never seen that before.
So it holds you like that, that way you can torque it.
Holy sh**. Did you make this?
No.
Thanks.
There's just so many convenient tools out there that I have yet to use. Torque the flywheel bolts to 58 pounds. Not really 100% sure on that one. I see a lot of numbers being tossed around online, but it's somewhere between 55 and 58. On goes the clutch and pressure plate. Make sure to use your alignment tool during the install and torque process. The trans mount on the good transmission was worn and cracked, so I'll be using the mount from the blue car's old transmission. Inspect the fork and throwout bearing for any unusual play, and dab some grease on the trans spline before installing. I have no specific way of connecting the trans to the motor. All I do is line it up and shove it in as much as I can. Remember the two different bolts that hold the transmission to the bell housing? Short ones go on the top, and the long ones on the sides. I use the long ones to thread in first. They're a lot easier because of their length. And once you get both sides threaded, start to tighten them until you can get the top bolts threaded in. Once all four are threaded, equally tighten them until bell housing is secured. The torque specs, I'm not really too sure. I usually just crank the shit out of them. They're bell housing bolts, but I think you're supposed to look at the number on the head of the bolts and use the repair manual to look it up. I don't know. Sorry. And finally, the starter. Again, I don't know the specs. I usually just tighten them up. I don't know why, but the first day is always so productive. But the second day, not so much. Maybe it was just the weather that day, or the heat. You know, at this point, I was pretty tired, and I still had like 4 hours left until closing. You look at it, it's a Saturday, skies are blue, it's summer right now, and we're in Hawaii of all places. I guess I'll take a break.